A titan stole fire from the gods and gave it to humanity. Not because humanity asked for it, not because they deserved it, but because he looked at them shivering in caves and decided they needed it more than Zeus needed to keep it. The punishment was eternal. Every day an eagle would come and eat his liver. Every night the liver would grow back. This continued for thousands of years. His name was Prometheus, and this is the price he paid for making humans more than animals. The story of Prometheus is preserved primarily in Hesiod's Theogony and Works and Days, composed around 700 BCE, and in Aeschylus's Prometheus Bound, written 3 centuries later. Together they present one of the most influential myths in Western culture, the rebel who defies unjust authority for the sake of those who cannot defend themselves. What makes this myth so enduring is that it's not really about fire. It's about knowledge, technology, progress, and the question of whether humans should have the tools to shape their own destiny or whether those tools should remain in the hands of whoever has the power to withhold them. The Greeks told this story for a reason. They understood the cost of advancement. If you're following the complete Greek mythology series, subscribe to Snappled Myths and hit the bell. We're building the full story, myth by myth. Like this video if you want more, and let's get into what Prometheus actually did and why Zeus never forgave him for it. Prometheus was a titan, one of the old gods who ruled before Zeus and the Olympians overthrew them in a war that reshaped the cosmos. But Prometheus was different. When the war came, he sided with Zeus. He saw which way the future was moving and chose the winning side. This choice saved him from being cast into Tartarus with the other defeated titans. His name means Forethought. His brother Epimetheus means Afterthought. The names are not subtle. Prometheus could see consequences before they happened. Epimetheus could only understand what went wrong after it was too late. This distinction matters because the entire myth turns on it. In some versions, Prometheus was the one who shaped humanity from clay. He built them in the image of the gods, gave them upright posture so they could look at the stars, and breathed life into them. In other versions, humanity already existed but was primitive, barely more than animals. Either way, Prometheus became their champion and protector. The first conflict between Prometheus and Zeus came over sacrifice. The Greeks practiced animal sacrifice as their primary form of worship, and someone had to decide which parts of the animal went to the gods and which parts humans got to keep. Prometheus was chosen to make this division. He saw an opportunity. Prometheus butchered an ox and divided it into 2 portions. The first he wrapped in the animal's stomach, making it look disgusting. Inside was all the good meat. The second he wrapped in shining white fat, making it look appealing. Inside was nothing but bones. He presented both to Zeus and asked him to choose which portion the gods would receive. Zeus chose the shining fat. Ancient sources debate whether he knew it was a trick and chose it anyway to have an excuse to punish humanity, or whether he was genuinely fooled. Either way, from that moment forward, humans burned the bones and fat for the gods and kept the good meat for themselves. Prometheus had tilted the cosmic order in humanity's favor. Zeus was furious. As punishment, he took fire away from humanity. No more cooked food, no more metalworking, no more warmth against the winter cold. Humans were sent back to living like animals, eating raw meat, freezing in the dark. Zeus had made his point. Humanity existed at his pleasure, and he could take away their tools whenever he wanted. Prometheus looked at what Zeus had done and decided it was unjust. Fire was not a luxury, it was the foundation of human civilization. Without it, humans would never advance beyond scavenging and huddling in caves. So Prometheus went up to Olympus, stole a spark of fire from the god's hearth, and carried it down hidden in a hollow fennel stalk. He gave fire back to humanity. Not just the physical flame, but everything that came with it. Cooked food, warm homes, the ability to forge metal into tools and weapons, the foundation of all technology and civilization. In that moment, Prometheus gave humans the capacity to shape their own world rather than simply endure it. But here's what makes the theft interesting. Prometheus knew exactly what would happen to him. He could see the future. He knew Zeus would catch him, knew the punishment would be terrible and eternal. He stole the fire anyway. That's not recklessness. That's a considered decision that the cost was worth paying. Zeus discovered the theft immediately. Smoke from human fires rising into the sky was not subtle. He knew exactly who had done it. There was only one titan who would dare, only one who cared that much about humanity. Zeus ordered Prometheus brought before him. The sentence was already decided. Zeus had Prometheus chained to a rock in the Caucasus Mountains at the edge of the known world. The chains were unbreakable, forged by Hephaestus himself. Prometheus could not move, could not escape, could not even die. And then Zeus sent the eagle. Every day at dawn, an enormous eagle would descend and tear open Prometheus's abdomen. It would eat his liver slowly, while he was fully conscious and feeling every moment. The liver is one of the few organs that regenerates. Every night it would grow back completely. Every morning the eagle would return. This was not a temporary punishment. This was forever. The specific choice of the liver matters. Ancient Greeks believed the liver was the seat of emotion and passion. Zeus was not just punishing Prometheus's body, he was punishing his capacity to care about humanity. making sure that the part of him that felt compassion suffered the most. It was a designed cruelty. Prometheus remained chained to that rock for what sources describe as thousands of years, though the exact duration varies. He could not sleep through it. He could not go numb to it. He could not convince himself it was worth it, because the pain was too immediate and too constant. The only thing he could do was endure. During his imprisonment, other figures visited him. Oceanus, his uncle, came and urged him to apologize to Zeus, to beg for mercy, to end his suffering. Prometheus refused. He would not apologize for giving humans fire. Io, a young woman Zeus had transformed and cursed, came past fleeing from Zeus's wife Hera. Prometheus told her where her wanderings would eventually end. Even in chains, he retained his gift of foresight. But Zeus was not finished punishing humanity for receiving the stolen fire. He ordered Hephaestus to create the first woman. Her name was Pandora, which means all gifted. Each god gave her a quality: beauty, persuasion, curiosity, deceit. She was designed as a trap. Zeus sent Pandora to Epimetheus, Prometheus's brother, along with a sealed jar and strict instructions never to open it. Prometheus had warned his brother, accept no gifts from Zeus, but Epimetheus, true to his name of Afterthought, did not think ahead. He saw a beautiful woman offering him companionship and said yes immediately. Pandora, driven by the curiosity the gods had placed in her, eventually opened the jar. Out came every kind of suffering that had not existed in the world before: disease, old age, hard labor, pain, envy, spite, revenge. They spread across the earth and infected all of humanity. Only one thing remained trapped inside the jar when Pandora slammed the lid shut: hope. Ancient Greeks debated what it meant that hope stayed inside. Was it a mercy, that at least humans retained hope to endure their suffering? Or was it the final cruelty, that hope kept humans going through misery rather than allowing them the release of giving up? The text does not resolve this. It just notes that hope alone did not escape. Prometheus remained chained for ages beyond counting. Then one day Heracles, traveling through the region during his labors, heard screaming from the mountains. He climbed to investigate and found the Titan chained to the rock, the eagle tearing at him. Heracles shot the eagle dead with one of his poisoned arrows. But killing the eagle was not enough to free Prometheus. The chains were divine and unbreakable, and Zeus's decree remained in force. Heracles returned to Zeus and negotiated the final terms required a sacrifice. The centaur Chiron, who was suffering from an incurable poisoned wound, agreed to give up his immortality and die in Prometheus's place. Zeus accepted the exchange. Prometheus was freed, but he was required to wear a ring made from his chains and a wreath made from the wood of his prison. So he would carry a reminder of his punishment forever. He returned to the world, but not unchanged. The cost of his gift had been paid in full. The fire Prometheus stole was never just literal fire. It was knowledge, technology, the capacity to transform the natural world rather than simply accept it. In stealing fire, Prometheus gave humanity the ability to create civilization. That is why Zeus punished him so severely. It was not about fire. It was about control. Zeus represented authority that demands obedience without question. Prometheus represented the principle that authority can be wrong, and when it is wrong, defying it is the correct choice, even if the cost is unbearable. The Greeks told this story while living under various forms of tyranny. The message was not subtle. The myth also asks a harder question: should humanity have received fire? We use technology to build and to destroy. We cook our food and we forge weapons. We create civilization and we burn cities. Prometheus gave us the tools. What we do with them is on us, not him. Later writers, particularly during the Romantic era, embraced Prometheus as the ultimate rebel against tyranny. Percy Shelley wrote Prometheus Unbound, imagining him freed and triumphant. Mary Shelley subtitled Frankenstein with the modern Prometheus, drawing a direct parallel between Prometheus giving humans fire and Dr. Frankenstein giving life to his creature. Both acts of creation came with unforeseen consequences. Both creators suffered for what they made. Both were punished for playing God. The parallel was intentional. Shelley was arguing that technological advancement always comes with a cost. And the question is not whether to pay it, but whether we understand what we are buying. Modern interpretations continue to use Prometheus as shorthand for the price of progress. Nuclear physics, artificial intelligence, genetic engineering. Every technology that gives humans godlike power over the natural world gets compared to Prometheus's fire. The question is always the same: should we, just because we can? The Greeks answered that question by saying Prometheus was right to steal the fire, but they also showed us the eagle eating his liver every single day for thousands of years. Both things are true. Progress is worth the cost. The cost is unbearable. You do it anyway. Prometheus teaches us that defying unjust authority has consequences that cannot be avoided. You do not get to be the rebel and also be safe. The punishment will come. The question is whether you can look at the cost ahead of time and decide it is worth paying. He also teaches us that gifts to humanity are not always received with gratitude. Prometheus saved humans from freezing and starving, and his reward was eternal torture. Sometimes doing the right thing means accepting that nobody will thank you for it, and some will actively resent you for making their lives more complicated. And finally, Prometheus teaches us that progress and suffering are inseparable. The fire that cooks our food also burns our cities. The knowledge that builds civilization also builds weapons. The tools that free us from nature's limits also give us the power to destroy ourselves. Prometheus knew all of this when he stole the fire. He gave it to us anyway. The story of Prometheus and the fire is about the cost of caring more about justice than about safety. It is about looking at an unjust rule and deciding to break it even when you know exactly what will happen to you. It is about enduring unbearable suffering for a choice you would make again. For thousands of years, Prometheus hung from that rock with an eagle eating his liver, and he never apologized, never begged for mercy, never said he regretted giving humanity fire. That is what the myth is actually teaching. Not that rebellion is easy or safe, but that some things are worth any cost. This video was created by combining human research and script writing with AI-assisted visual production, bringing these ancient stories to life for modern audiences. For more Greek mythology-related books and the AI tools we use to make this content, check the links in the description below.